Hi everyone, good evening. I hope you all are doing good, guys. So, shall we start? This is the first day, first class. I have taken the orientation last week, but after that, this will be the first class for the medical affairs course, guys. So let's start. Let's not wait. And today's class is the first and introduction overview on the medical affairs and what are the things involved in the medical affairs. And you have the brochure with you. You have the schedule with you. I hope you have seen. And now the classes are fixed. Every Sunday there will be the classes. At 6 p.m. Okay, every Sunday 6 p.m. there will be the classes. Only, okay, very less people have joined though. But yes, let's start. Let's not delay. So today's class, as we have Dr. Farooq with us, Dr. Hassan Farooq with us. So he will be taking today's class, and he has a decades of experience. Over a decade of experience across the various roles in the academics, clinical research, and medical affairs. And Dr. Hassan has is right now is currently working in as a clinical medical manager at Novo Nordisk, and he will be taking your class today. And he has the previous work experiences in the medical affairs division at Icon, IQVIA, LifeScan, and Sanofi and Novartis. And he has been focused on the medical affairs and clinical research. In 2023 to 2024, Dr. Hassan served as the executive member of the Clinical Data Management Council for the Indian Society of Clinical Research, and he holds a degree in pharmacy from the JSS College of Pharmacy, a doctor of pharmacy from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and the postgraduate certification in marketing management from IIM Kozhikode. Okay, so he has the management degree as well from IIM Kozhikode, and he briefly worked as the research associate with Kerala Medical Services Corporation Limited as well, and worked as academician at National College of Pharmacy Kozhikode as the faculty member. And he has been transitioned into the many roles. So not talking much because he will be talking to you directly, and you can assess him, you can talk to him, you can ask him the questions. So but yeah, only one thing, guys, that I expect that you will be learning well, and you will be asking a lot of questions, lot of questions if you have in mind. And so happy learnings, guys, and I can hand over this to Dr. Ehsan. So, Dr. Ehsan, thank you very much for joining. You are on mute. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. So, yes, we have to do something. You are on mute. Yes, we have to make you the co-host, guys. Please don't, open your mics. We are opening your mics, so you can speak in between if it is required. Or, I think, Dr. Ehsan, you can open your mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ajit, can you hear me well?
Yes, yes, I can hear you well.
Okay,
So,
okay.
is it okay if we can chat in the text only, or we should, open their mics? It causes the
Uh,
distraction
we, we
sometimes.
can open their mic because it's like a classroom, right? So
Okay,
let's open
fantastic
their mic.
then. No, definitely these are the classes for them only, but sometimes the mic's open. Okay, so this is completely now. Now you please open your mic, and anyone can open if it is required. And our team is already here in the
Mm,
class, guys. So yeah, please hold on your mics. You know.
mm.
So yeah, please over to you, Dr. Ehsan.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, everyone.
yeah. So thank you so much, Ajit, once again. From here, I will take on. So just curious, like actually, since we have like 40 plus people on the card, how many of you had attended our introductory session, which we did couple of days back? You can just put it in the chat, okay? You don't have to necessarily answer right now. Also, if you could also elaborate little bit, like actually, what you expect from this course. Again, no pressure right now to type it immediately, but during this class session you could just type that, so that actually that will help me, like actually in planning some of the future sessions during this curriculum as well. So just to give you a brief overview, today we would be talking about the historical evolution of medical affairs as a function. So you will hear a little bit of history from the medical perspectives, as well as how medical affairs evolved as a strategic partner what they are today to pharmaceutical organization. We will hear more about this, okay, in today's session. So subsequently, as Ajit mentioned, we will have like a lot many other sessions. You will also have like actually various experts joining from different pharmaceutical organizations. Since Ajit had already given a brief overview about my profile, I will not further spend time over there. Okay, let's quickly dive into the session. So. Uh, Anyone can unmute and tell me like actually once they can see my screen. Ajit, I am unable to share my screen.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
No, I am unable to share my screen. Like,
No, 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 no. Share screen is on for you. Please do that.
mm, it's like that share button is like actually it's not appearing green.
Is it?
Yeah.
One sec.
So it's showing like actually one participant can share at a time.
Uh, who else is sharing? No, you can share now. Please share.
No, I can. I am still unable to. I will just show you.
Can you please rejoin by?
Okay, okay, I will do that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the
When you are showing that screen, now you have to click on the screen, then only the share button will appear.
yeah. Hope
Yes,
you
it is
can see
coming
my
now.
screen right now. Yeah,
Yes, 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 yes.
yeah,
It is now.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
that's visible. Yes,
Sorry,
please.
sorry for the technical
No, no,
glitches.
no problem. No problem. That's fine.
Let's
Please go
let's
ahead.
uh, let's proceed. So, this brief presentation will take you through centuries of the practice, how it evolved, as well as some of the development what we have seen, which shape today's strategic medical affairs function. A disclaimer to go with. So, whatever the views expressed here are like actually only for the training purpose and doesn't represent my organization, as well as the images used here are only for educational purpose and does not endorse any brands or organization. So as you could see, like the
Hey, can you please make it full screen?
it's I believe a full screen. Like,
No, it's not there. No, it is not.
okay, let me then stop sharing and do it once again. One sec.
Screens, share the full screen. I mean, entire screen, and then you do it full screen.
Yeah, and their screen share.
Now make it full screen.
Yeah, hope it's full
Yes,
screen. Yeah,
perfect. Yes,
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. So uh, friends, you all would agree with me, like the medical practice has evolved over a period of time. From the time we all know, like actually the earliest recorded versions were from the Egyptians, who documented it on papyrus papers. And we also hear like the Chinese had compiled first herbal medicine compendium back in 2800 BC. So, the father of medicine, we all know, Hippocrates, established ethical principles and scientific observations. Later on, these advances were followed by the Greek and Arab physicians, who had again contributed significantly, because like actually our own country, India, we have this Ayurveda, which we believe like actually has an history of over 5,000 years. So the system like actually has been again like actually taken over by the traders, primarily the Arabs, Chinese, etc. So this has also contributed in the development of Greek, Arabic like medicine system as well. So later on, in the 7th century and post that, scholars like Al-Razi, Ibn Sina, they have preserved a lot of Greco-Roman medical texts, which again, like actually, pioneered into and contributed to the medicine systems greatly. So Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, his classic textbook, The Canons of Medicine, has been used until the late 17th century. Our own Charaka Samhita, which is believed to be dating back almost to 300 BC, again has set forth a legacy when it comes to medical literature. The Bimaristan. Bimaristan is nothing but a early model of hospital from Damascus, which is originally believed to be as old as 706 CE, offered special care, especially with dedicated physicians. And again, they were concentrating primarily on treating ailments like leprosy. They started had isolated secluded areas for treating such infectious diseases. Europe's first medical college, we believe, was founded somewhere in the 9th century, and University of Bologna established first medical faculty in the year of 1158. We all know Andreas Vesalius, which we consider as the father of modern anatomy, had significantly contributed to the anatomical observations from direct human dissections, and this has surpassed whatever the contributions made from the Galenic period. Similar way, we had advancements in the circulatory systems and discovery, further followed by the revolutionary vaccination breakthrough from Edward Jenner, who demonstrated immunity to smallpox by inoculating patients with cowpox material. And James Lind, further in the year of 1747, did the first randomized clinical trial, I would say, though it was in a crude form. And this experiment was done for the patients who had scurvy, like scurvy, as also known as sailor syndrome, the vitamin C deficiency. So where he provided citrus fruits, where he divided his study cohort, like the 12 sailors with scurvy, into 6 treatment groups, and only those receiving citrus fruits recovered. So this has revolutionized how we do the clinical research in the future. And this is being attributed as the starting point for the clinical research even today. So and this has established a methodology for evidence-based medicine. uh, any of you can unmute and say, if any one of you know which day is celebrated as the World Clinical Research Day. Since I can't see you while sharing the screen, maybe any one of you can unmute and share your answer.
Yes, guys, participate.
May 20th.
Yeah, that's correct answer. Who answered this?
Alna Joy.
Thanks, Alna. So we celebrate this because, that was the exact day, in 1747, when James Lind started this particular experiment, what is highlighted in the slide. So that's the reason, we celebrate May 20 as the historic date when we celebrate as the Clinical Research Day. As the time progressed, we all know, with the advances the germ theory, uh, bringing of antiseptics into the practice, diagnostic advances, especially with stethoscopes, x-rays, these things again had shifted from the traditional medicines into a more scientific approach driven. Again, women traditionally were not part of the medicine community globally. So Elizabeth Blackwell became the first woman to receive a medical degree in the United States in 1849, beginning the gradual integration of women into the profession. Now, during this period, we also know the hospitals also had significant advancements in terms of surgical. Again, nurses, which were earlier just like a support system, has become a professional unit, especially when Florence Nightingale established first secular nursing school at St. Thomas Hospital in 1860, transforming nursing into a respected profession. During the same time, the emergency medicine unit also saw its advancement, especially the first dedicated ambulance service appeared in London in the year 1887, and almost little earlier at New York, beginning the tradition of emergency medical response. So with all these, obviously there are hospital advancements. There are numerous new requirement, which prompted the evolution of pharmaceutical industry as well. So the 19th century saw the birth of modern pharmaceutical industry, setting the stage for later medical affairs functions. So Frederick Setterner is credited to isolate morphine from opium. This is again a landmark period, I would say. You know why it was named morphine? It is just named after the Greek god of sleep, Morpheus. Then Merck, which originally started as a small pharmacy, as early as the late 1600s, started commercially producing medicines by early 1800s. Uh, Later on, in the late 1800s, Bayer started commercializing aspirin, and in by 1906, there was early drug regulation began with in the United States in the form of U.S. Pure Food and Drug Act. So these early pharmaceutical companies evolved from apothecaries or normal what you can say from the compounders and chemical manufacturers, gradually developing standardized products and research capabilities, because there was a need and they had to really stand up to to build capacities for the growing demand. So in the 20th century, you could see the medical roles and structures and the regulations have further propelled the game. As I mentioned, in 1906, we have U.S. Pure Food and Drug Establishment Act, followed by during this little later we have Alexander Fleming discovering penicillin, leading to the revolution of antibiotics into this market. uh, the previous act was amended in 1938. The US Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act came into being. Then in 1946, first randomized controlled trial for streptomycin for tuberculosis was conducted. 1962 marks the landmark Cooper-Harris Amendment. Uh, this came post thalidomide tragedy. Of course, I will cover it in the next slide. But you need to note, until then, there was no specific requirement for pharmaceutical uh, manufacturers, to show the efficacy and safety of the products beforehand. So it was in 1962 with Cooper-Harris Amendment, which requires proof of efficacy in addition to safety before launching the product. And as I told, this was mandated with the thalidomide tragedy and few other instances. I would say during the same time, especially the late 1930s and early 1940s, marked the emergence of dedicated medical departments within pharmaceutical companies. So and this further post World War II, this has further exponentially grown because of the expansion in pharmaceutical research, as well as from the small molecules. We were actually developing hormones, protein based products. So again, growing complexity of new medicines required specialized knowledge. Need for scientific exchange with healthcare professionals grew over a period of time, and obviously the choice was to absorb or hire physicians or someone who is competent to talk about the science to the healthcare professionals. So medical departments focused initially on internal scientific guidance and slowly expanding further. These early medical functions were often small team of physicians who supported product development and explained complex scientific information. And as I mentioned, there were actually lot of regulatory pressures leading to this organization again to think about having medical affairs as a separate function. One such was thalidomide crisis. So many of you might know, thalidomide, when it was launched like a wonder drug, like a one pill remedy for many diseases. So many pregnant ladies at that point of time had taken it for treating morning sickness, and it was working well. But then we all know later on, Focomelia appeared, and it was disastrous. Many babies were born without limbs, and actually many. So you all know that this tragic episode related to thalidomide. So this had led to stricter regulations worldwide and heightened scrutiny of pharmaceutical companies. And in the 60s and 70s, regulatory changes further required to separate promotional activities from scientific communication and medical support. Please note, for medical affairs, as I mentioned earlier as well, it's primarily the role of medical affairs is to communicate science with its stakeholders. So this separation from promotional activities, which is primarily or directly related to the commercial programs, and the separation of scientific communication again propel the growth for medical affairs. Then again, compliance focus, medical affairs emerged as an independent department with scientific credibility and responsibility for non-promotional medical communication. So this led to formalization of medical affairs as an independent department. So it has a distinct departmental identity by 1980s, and they established with a separate structure, dedicated leadership, etc. So scientific publication management, again, as new data came in, there was a requirement for having or to communicate these through various journals and publication. Again, medical affairs took a lead in those segments. And the growing requirement of engaging key opinion leaders or expert again became a priority for medical affairs, and they started developing systematic approaches to run advisory boards, speaker programs, scientific exchange with key opinion leaders, etc. Further, this was followed by the digital data revolution. So, by 1990s, technological transformation, especially with internet, changed the world forever. So again, computerized data management enable larger and more complex clinical trials. Electronic databases improve scientific literature access and analysis. Medical affairs, proportionally grown with these advancements. Now coming to something we go back to 1960s. We talked about the advancement until early 2000s, but let's go a little back in time. So one thing which I mean, most of the people who attend here, as freshers, would be aspiring for a role of medical science liaison. So I will tell you, also briefly how this role evolved. It was in 1960s, Upjohn Pharmaceuticals, which later on became a subsidiary of Pfizer. They just like actually formed a small team of from their commercial team, or like actually their sales staffs, who could really communicate science, and coined this word medical science liaison to communicate science with the medical experts. So this became an instant hit for Upjohn, and this was followed as and emulated by other pharmaceutical companies soon. So medical science liaison, or the field-based therapy experts, became an integral part for the pharmaceutical organizations. So they facilitated bidirectional scientific exchange, gathering insight from the clinicians. They collected a lot of competitive intelligence. Same time, they supported the speaker development. They supported scientific exchange. They supported some of the post-marketing surveillance studies, etc. And right now, if you could see, like almost all Indian pharmaceutical companies also have they also employ medical science liaisons these days. And this is one of the primary role in medical affairs, what like actually someone can think of course, like actually there are medical advisor role as well, which is like I would say like more office based, while field based MSLs are so relevant for pharmaceutical industries across globe. And again, coming back, expansion of medical affairs responsibilities. As I told initially, it was only focused on communicating, like science to internal associates, as well as like to manage few external engagements. From there, the game has taken into grown into bigger proportions, where like medical affairs these days support and guide lot of investigator initiated studies. They also like collaborate with the clinical development team for post marketing surveillance studies. They spearhead the real world evidence generation, as well as like they prepare the organization for the launch of the new products and portfolio. uh, and during this period in the last 20 years, we also saw like the regulatory environment is further intensifying, which and there were like actually a lot of regulatory requirements which came, which further mandated the separation between commercial and medical affairs, as well as again, for any organization, like actually medical affairs became inseparable or an important identity which they need to have. uh, in the early 2000, like actually there were like actually many Indian organizations. They just had like actually one or two people in their medical affairs, which with this growing regulatory requirements, we saw like actually had expanded exponentially. And these days you could see like actually depending on the organizational size, they it could be anywhere between like actually 20 to 50 as well, depending on the organizational requirements. I mean, those who are directly employed under medical affairs. So again, something which has shaped up recently is like this patient advocacy engagements. Earlier times, the communication was between only with the HCPs or the physicians, while of late it has also like actually included engagements with the patient advocacy groups as well. So again, medical affairs spearhead this relationship building with patient organizations. This helps actually to give a clear clarity, or like actually it helps the organization to understand about the patient journey, to understand clinical care pathway, which helps a lot in the clinical development process. Also, we all know like actually a couple of years back, we were only analyzing the efficacy of our products through which were again like monitored through the laboratory means, while these days patient reported outcomes are also inseparable in the clinical trial outcomes, as well as for the real world studies. These days, medical affairs also offer a lot of educational support, especially this is required when, like, there's a new product which was never been there. Like, every, every now and then we have new molecules coming in, which you might not have even, read in your pharmacology textbooks. So rising influence in drug development, this is growing day by day, especially when early clinical development planning and to provide inputs, guidance on clinically relevant endpoints, identification of key opinion leaders for conducting the clinical development programs, insights on treatment landscape to understand more on competition, to understand and uncover unmet needs, translation of technical data into clinical narratives. These all uh, further contributed to the prominence of medical affairs. Now, these days, we have further expanded into digital health tools. And again, we have not only the products, but it now these many of the products come with device combinations. So even the devices what we used to administer need like a lot of support and guidance. So again, the regulations with the medical devices also had propelled the medical so this is just to give you a picture and overview, like who are all the people who are part of medical affairs, uh, who uh, who like are the unavoidable part of the medical affairs team. You could see like still majority of the medical affairs is dominated by the physician community, followed by pharmacists, the researchers, those who have some doctorate degree or advanced healthcare degrees, followed by data scientists. Health economists are also added as to the medical affairs domain, especially these days, considering their role in health economics, real world evidence, and they, in the era of AI, they could really support the other teams who are mentioned here. So, medical affairs as key strategic partner, I would say this just from a support function. These days, they have evolved into strategic partner because they provide scientific input into portfolio prioritization decisions. They help in influencing clinical development strategy based on real world insights. They lead cross functional scientific alignment as well as educate internal stakeholders on disease landscape and competitive environment. So value demonstration and health economics, I'm not deep diving into this topic because this we will discuss in much more detail at a later stage during this curriculum. So this again has added lot of value. Medical information and communication is another domain, especially when scientific data interpretation, and there is a lot of off-label use information which are solicited by these physicians or investigators. Then comparative effectiveness discussion, safety profile clarification, etc. These areas again, there are medical information specialists which comes under medical affairs, and they also contribute significantly. So medical affairs in the era of big data, especially this is relevant these days because of the real world evidence generation, as well as AI has uh, disrupted, I would say, how the evolution of medical affairs have been. There are lot of changes. We use generative AI tools to advanced AI systems to help and identify patterns in complex data sets, predict treatment response, and to understand early failures, etc. So partnership with external stakeholders for medical affairs have significantly evolving. It's not only with healthcare institutions as it used to be earlier, but rather with regulatory bodies, with patient organizations, as well as academic institutions these days. training and development, which I had discussed earlier, but again, this will stay relevant for like actually, for the years to come. Again, I would say the current challenges and trends, there was a post-COVID, there was a lot of shift towards virtual engagements, and I believe medical affairs have stood up to these testing times. And again, and global compliance harmonization, very complex regulatory environments, and again, like so, to stay relevant during these tough times. So these were like something, but as I told, um, medical affairs is future ready with the support of AI powered clinical tools. Precision medicine again will like actually bring in lot of prominence to medical affairs. Increased patient co-creation, that's what I mentioned, like actually increased engagement of patients directly into the development of scientific initiatives as well as communications. uh, Real-time data integration from connected devices, strategic leadership expanding to shape organizational direction, etc., will keep medical affairs at a prominent position within pharmaceutical industry for the years to come. So to conclude, just from scribe, medical affairs have grown into strategic leader. I would say, like actually, earlier when they started, they were just record keeper. From there, they have grown into information provider. They further grew into scientific partner, and these days, they are the most crucial. I would say, like like in a reaction which we call like like a rate limiting step, they are so important and unavoidable. So they help in shaping organizational direction through scientific insight and stakeholder intelligence. So this with this, like I will conclude my slide, and I will be open to discussion. If you have any queries, you can please unmute and ask. So today's session, as I mentioned, it was like more focused on providing you little bit of historical perspective, how medical affairs has evolved as a strategic partner as what we see today.
Yes,
And
please, questions, please.
Good evening, sir. This is Alina this side.
yeah.
Sir, as you have mentioned in your slide,
So Alina, sorry to interrupt. Before
yes,
you start, like actually, can you also say a few words about yourself, like from where you are, like currently what you are pursuing, so that will help in like actually to give answers in this in a better perspective.
sir, currently I'm working as in the medical affairs department with the Brunton Pharmaceuticals in Pune. So I'm just
Okay,
budding my career in this department. Uh,
nice to hear. Like you are already here and tasted medical affairs.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know that as you mentioned in the slide, AI driven regarding the medical affairs. So how you, according to your perspective, like what AI and medical affairs are going to do, or either they are going to replace, like in the if we do with the medical right in the medical professional.
Hmm.
So with this medical affairs the team or in any of the thing.
Yeah. So I will give you answer like, but I will give you with some examples as well. Couple of years back, Google was trying to develop a software which can grade diabetic retinopathy, and they had partnered with some premier ophthalmology hospitals in India. So those time I was working as a medical science liaison, and out of curiosity, I was talking to one of the investigator of that program to understand more, like, and again I had this concern whether this tool is going to replace the doctors who currently are grading this diabetic retinopathy. So the investigator told me, no, it's not going to replace, though the tool can accurately predict or grade like the diabetic retinopathy. But what will happen means actually, there are like actually, in India, like there are lot many patients who are currently undetected. So this will help to uncover a lot of patients. So this is again like actually would give a lot of opportunities for the physician to treat such patients. So I was just giving you some very random example. So coming back specifically to your question, AI is not going to replace the entire workforce, but it certainly is going to replace those who don't know how to use it in their practice. So if you are not learning the tricks and trades of these recent developments, and if you can't implement it in your work, then it will replace you. Just like I'm giving you the case of some of the generative AI tools. See, very common these days, you all might be using, we have like actually things like Microsoft Teams. So Teams, they have the Microsoft has further incorporated something like Copilot, which is
Yes.
like a generative AI tool. So with Copilot, like earlier, like when they introduced it, was mostly like people started using it for recording minutes, etc. So then you won't require a scribe or like someone to document those minutes, etc. But these days, it is also like there are several features which is being fed into the system, where you could use it to analyze complex data sheets, because they have incorporated features like analyst, researcher, etc. into Copilot. So this will help you further analyze. So the point is like if you know the tricks and trade, it will not grab or like take away your job, rather like actually give you better perspective, better like ways of working with like actually shorter timelines.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Alina.
Any other questions, guys? Guys, any other
Good evening,
questions?
sir.
Yeah, good evening, Ankita. Tell me.
Good evening, sir. I'm Ankita Rao. I'm currently working as a senior resident in Cooper Hospital, Mumbai.
Okay.
Sir, in your presentation, you mentioned both MSL and medical advisor. So I
Yeah.
wanted to know, is there any difference between these two, or they are
Yes.
used synonymously?
No, they are not exactly synonymous, I would say. I can tell you like the differences. So medical science liaison is more of a field based role, so where the person has to travel almost like 60% or devote 60 or 70% of his time for travel to meet these stakeholders. And that is like actually unavoidable, for the reason like actually whenever you need to get a lot of insights, you might have still have to resort to physical visits, like their way you will be able to develop that rapport with the person whom you wanted to engage, like to have a more personal one-to-one communication rather than these virtual engagements. So MSL still continue to be a field-based role, whereas medical affairs role I would say like actually would be kind of a office based with a limited days of field working, because they also go into the field, or like actually they work along with MSLs, like actually to get the pulse, as well as like actually to collect a lot of inputs. But their travel days, I can say like is much more limited, and they are more office based in nature. So one you can say like actually to give an example, an MSL on an average would spend somewhere between 10 to 12 days in a field. Assume that would be like for a medical advisor, it would be like 3 to 4 days in a month.
Okay, sir. So, sir, if we are like in the initial stages, we are entering into the pharma industry. So,
Yeah.
is it so that we would be hired as an MSL initially, or directly we can get the role of a medical advisor also?
So I can also tell this. So it again depends on the immediate. Suppose an organization has an immediate requirement, like I have seen like they may hire people even as a medical advisors, like I mean freshers also as a medical advisors, while the if you see the majority of the cases, they first hire people as MSLs, or the another word, common word in India, what we use is regional medical advisors. So they hire people as regional medical advisors first, and based on their experience as regional medical advisors, at least 1 year or 2 years is actually what is required, and they might be consider them as a medical advisor. But yeah, don't confuse, some of the Indian companies, they use medical advisor as a common word for everyone. I mean, in those settings, those medical advisors will also sometimes required to travel so many days in the field, and they have to do the combined work of a RMA as well as MA.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
uh, I think Dr.
Hello.
Dimki was asking first, right? Yeah. Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. I have few questions. As you have said in the seminar, like investigator-initiated studies. So,
Yes.
can you give an example? Like, what are the investigator-initiated studies, and at what phase of the drug development are they done?
So, it's a very nice question. Uh, I'll tell you, Dimbi, and may I know your background as well? Currently where you are working, or are you studying still?
Yes, sir. I am second year resident at Sri MP Shah Government Medical College doing MD
Okay.
Pharmacology.
Okay. So, see, we all know, there are these clinical development programs which companies undertake to, to bring out their products into the market. So, for that, we have these phase 1, 2, 3 programs, and once the drug is into the market, we all know, we have post-marketing surveillance programs as well. But in many cases, what happen, these drugs might have a lot of other scope than the official indications what the trial has been conducted, or currently what the trial is progressing. So so these ideas usually comes from the clinicians, independent researchers, investigators, etc. So this is not actually exactly the pharma company driven clinical development programs. But then investigators would feel like, okay, so just to give you an example, let's assume an organization is trying to develop a product for hemoglobinopathies, specifically, say, let's take the example for beta thalassemia. And then one of the investigator or clinician who is part of this clinical development program is reaching back to the organization saying, uh, I feel this drug would also be a wonderful fit for the sickle cell disease. Okay. Now the organization doesn't want to invest their entire time, lot of money to run a complete clinical development program, but they still would like to test it out. Then they would be very much interested in this idea of conducting an investigator initiated study. That means that particular clinician who had approached them will be responsible for running that study. He will actually prepare that the required study protocols, and again further requirements. Of course, that would be supported by the specific pharma organization, and then he might actually conduct such study. So in especially in Western countries, in developed world, uh, along with the drug development itself, many investigator initiated studies would also run. And this number would be much more when the drug is already there in the market. Then many of the clinicians who already started using it may reach out to the organization, I have this proposal where I believe this could be wonderful to be tested out. Organization definitely will evaluate these proposals. The primary point for these doctors as a touch base to this organization, of course, would be the medical science liaisons, medical advisors, or someone senior in the medical affairs department. So they actually liaise between organization as well as this clinician to evaluate the prospect of supporting that study, to take it further, or whether we need to support, whether the organization is interested to invest, etc. So this can happen at any phase when the of the drug development, but most prominently in the post marketing phase. Hope I have answered your query.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I have also one
Yeah,
another question
please.
regarding patient advocacy engagement. Like,
Yes.
can you explain like how, as a medical science liaison, we are involved in that?
Yeah. So I will also tell you, this patient advocacy engagement is something relatively new to India, but has been there actually since a couple of decades in the developed world. So there are actually many patient support groups or patient advocacy groups, what we call them, who primarily act as the voice for these patients. And these are more prominent in the neglected diseases, in the orphan diseases, in the rare disease segment, etc., because there are not many to voice for them. The cost of therapy is exorbitantly expensive, and many a times what is more important is the pharmaceutical industry may also many a times are clueless about the patient journey or the clinical care pathway of these patients. So it would be very important to listen to these patient needs as well, that, and for that actually there is no one better than the patients. And these patient advocacy groups generally are members of this patient community coming together, floating an organization, and they advocate the actually they voice out their needs, support, etc. So organizations reach out to them to understand little more about their disease, what they consider as a primary need. Now I can give you an example. uh, when some of the organizations were trying to develop medicines for sickle cell disease, for example. It's globally it's a rare disease. In India it's not that rare, but then whenever the organizations are trying to develop, two things generally they used to focus. For example, they used to focus on mm, pain crisis, what these patients endure. They also used to focus on the anemia, uh, what is actually pertinent to the disease itself. So as endpoints. But when you talk to the patients, they would say of course pain crisis is a concern for us, but even what is more pressing, or what is unmet need for them is the fatigue what they endure along with this disease condition. And many others, the general community accuse them as lazy people. They don't want to go to school, they don't want to do the routine job, etc. So these conditions what patient experience are and what are the patient concerns are not generally voiced out, or are often ignored by the researchers, or those who are involved in the drug development. So then engaging with these people makes a lot of sense. So these days there is also a lot of momentum, actually see MSLs. I'm very much sure the next speaker, when he is talking in the next session, will talk a lot about the role of MSL in medical science liaison in detail. Okay, and an MSL's role typically, I can just briefly summarize that for you. Like an MSL's role typically involve maybe actually from when the drug is actually nearing to the launch. Not in the very early phases of the trial. So these days there is lot of momentum, especially in the Western world, as well as some of the MNCs, even those who are operating in India, to have MSLs in the very early phases of the trial, clinical research, science liaisons, etc. those who support like actually the development of protocols, those who like actually take inputs from these experts, which can be like actually included into the protocol, etc. There an MSL's role would be very critical to talk to these patients, to understand what are their unmet needs, etc. So hope, Dimpy, I have given you some clarity regarding that aspect, like how we engage patient advocacy groups.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, Dr. Ehsan sir.
Yeah.
Firstly, the presentation was very insightful. I really got to know that how the need caused the emergence of medical affairs field. So
Yeah.
I had one question that like we are seeing people from many different educational background coming to the medical affairs field, whether it
Yeah.
be MBBS or MBDS or PharmD as well.
Yes.
So I just wanted to know that as in even in your presentation, you clearly mentioned that medical affairs field is not just limited to one particular like physician. It has pharmacists, doctors, like
Yes.
every different sections have their positions and role. So
Yes.
I just want to clarify that we shouldn't be afraid that like even MD or who have more of the scientific knowledge of medicine compared to the other groups, like
Yeah.
even though we might not have that knowledge, but we can still contribute in the medical affairs field through the different way. So I just wanted
Exactly.
to know.
Tell me further. Dr. Shelley, you are on mute.
Sorry, sir. Actually, the voice got broke in between. Can you please share your perspective on that so that we, as someone who wants to get there, but there is some fear in our head about the variety of people coming in the same field. So, your perspective or your thoughts.
I think some network problem. Dr. Ehsan, you have to unmute yourself. Your network, I think, was not good. No, you are not audible. You are speaking, but you are not audible. Some problem.
Okay. Let me just rejoin back. Like I'm
No, now you are audible. Now you are audible
okay.
perfectly. Please go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just stopping my video just for the. Okay. Yeah. So answer Shelley. He
Again, your voice is breaking, actually, not coming.
rejoin
Yeah,
back.
please. Yes, that would be helpful.
It's only because of a network glitch.
Okay. Yeah. Ajit, can you hear me now?
Yes, bhai, we can hear you. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So to answer Shelley, like historically, the medical affairs is dominated by the physician community. So even that's the case in India as well. Like because like actually, as clinicians, they have the first-hand knowledge uh, about the clinical practice, and again, like they are the most closely associated ones with the medical practice. Having said that, like even other domains, like we could see like pharmacist, and even like the researchers like who has done PhD, etc., are like actually uh, are increasingly interested, like actually joining medical affairs. So they are also being considered because like actually they also have the theoretical knowledge. And of course like actually knowledge or expertise is something what is like actually not like actually stagnant or something like that, which again we need like actually to build over a period of time. And industries are also like actually it will invest lot of their efforts to upskill the people who are joining their team, to build them like actually to build their capabilities, to upskill like actually their knowledge, etc. So there are a lot of parallel programs being offered. So this will also help like the non-medical people also to an extent, like prepare or upskill themselves towards the requirement. And as Dr. Shelley was highlighting, like MBBS, MD, like actually still be like actually there like 60 to 70% in the medical affairs. I mean, especially in India. Whereas if you see in US and all, it would be the pharmacists who are dominating. They're like actually over 50% of medical affairs is like actually those who have completed PharmD.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the real insights about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very helpful.
sure. I can see Minal raising hand. Yeah.
Hello, sir. This is Meenal from Eldorado Biotech. I am into medical affairs based in Pune. So,
Okay.
Dr. Ankita actually asked about the difference between medical affairs and MSL role. So, other than field-based days working into field, is there any other job difference, profile difference between both of them?
Yeah. So, as I told, no, MSL's role would be described in greater detail in the subsequent session. But since you have asked, I can briefly touch upon. I told, no, 60 to 70% of the time MSLs in the field. Remaining days they would spend at office, or some of them would be home based. They spend those time like primarily to prepare for their meetings, like and again like actually to collect like and document the insights what they have collected, to prepare for their upcoming like actually interactions with the key opinion leaders, etc. Whereas typical medical advisor, of course, where the organization has both MSLs and medical advisors I'm talking about. So that medical advisor would be like actually more or less actually focused in managing like some of the projects, or like actually which are already assigned to him. So he would be like actually trying to spearhead advisory boards, like actually more about like actually conference participations, and like actually speaker engagements, etc. So that would be the larger difference. But when there are like actually there are organizations where there are only medical advisors and there are no separate field based one, then the medical advisor will have to do all these jobs. Then there are cases like actually in organizations where MSLs will also do all this work from a field-based position itself. So it mostly depends on the particular organizations or that individual organization's requirement, where the job exactly would be described.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Actually, that point was very clear that medical
Yeah.
affairs have to do sometimes the full-time MSL job also. So
Yeah.
depending upon organization, we have to just adjust accordingly.
Yeah,
So
that's
thank you,
correct.
sir. Thank you so much.
I can see 2 hands raised. You can unmute and ask, please.
Hi, Dr. Asham. This is Preetham. I have around about a decade experience in PV pharmacovigilance.
Okay.
So My question would be, you have said that it is already MSL is a field-based job. So
Yes.
what is the difference between an MSL representative and an Indian? There is a term which is known as medical representative.
Yeah.
What does the basic difference between those
Yes.
two categories?
Sure. So a medical representative or like a commercial associate will have like commercial targets assigned to him. So his responsibility would be doing efforts related to selling the product. And his role would be promotional in nature. Whereas for a medical science liaison, even though he's a field based, it would be like purely scientific based and non-promotional in nature, and he don't have any commercial responsibilities assigned to his role. So basically he is not responsible for selling of the product. Whereas he would be responsible to scientifically place his or her assigned product in the minds of these key medical experts. That way he will also be collecting lot of competitive intelligence, like what other competitors are doing in the market. But he will always be like non-promotional in nature to an extent. Some of the organizations even won't allow their MSLs to talk about the brand name. Rather they will be talking about that molecule name, just to maintain that non-promotional nature. Hope I have.
So, yeah. So thank you for that. And secondly, what is your take in terms of medical affairs on the healthcare industry 5.0? Recently, it is 5.0, right? 5.0, sorry, 5.0. So, what is your take on medical affairs part of this healthcare 5.0, 5.0?
See, I'm not actually an expert to talk on 5.0, but I can tell from any recent development, medical affairs will hold prominent position, because they are the one who are actually communicating any of the initiatives from the pharmaceutical industry which are scientific in nature. So that way they will actually continue to have their prominence. And specifically to 5.0, maybe I can update to you later, I can connect with you one-to-one and share more detailed information.
Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Good evening, Dr. Ehsan. My name is Sri Lakshmi, and I am a 2018 PharmD pass out from Amrita School of Pharmacy, Kochi. And I happened to join this course like totally out of curiosity for this particular subject that everybody has been talking about recently, that is medical affairs. So when I had graduated, there were very few people who were going into the pharmaceutical industry as such. And I too joined as a drug safety associate, like into pharmacovigilance. So at that point of time, there was very little knowledge on these MSL roles, and also so I felt like now I feel like I did not get a chance, or there was nobody to educate me on the different opportunities in the pharmaceutical industry. So this role has been I've been quite intrigued about this role, because I have a lot of friends who later transitioned to this particular like MSL roles. So I have two questions for you. One is, how often are like women preferred as MSLs? Because like you said, it involves a lot of travel. And so do companies, tend to prefer one gender over the other, or are women like equally given roles as an MSL? So that's my first question.
Okay. Should I answer first question before moving to other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can go ahead.
So that's a very interesting question. And again, as you rightly said, for pharmacists, at least in India, it was an uncharted territory. I mean, the medical affairs was an uncharted territory for them. But now the awareness is growing up. So I would say, like, actually, the proportion of medical science liaisons or the regional medical advisors, are increasingly from the pharmacy domain, even for multinational companies. Uh, and to answer specifically your question, I don't see, like, actually, any discrimination based on gender. Equally, women are there, and increasingly these days, actually, women are more in these roles. So this has not limited their, like, actually, opportunities, even with the requirement of travel. And companies have been generally flexible, supportive, like, especially when there are, like, actually, aspiring women coming into this role. And they have, like, actually, always been considerative, like, offered flexibility in travel. I mean, they uh, considering their safety aspects, like, given more flexible time to choose, like, the flight options, etc. And I mean, there are no differences, I would say, and lot many opportunities for females. And your second question?
Yes, thank you for answering the first one. So for the past 5 years, I've been in pharmacovigilance, and now I feel like exploring a lot of different options, and MSL is certainly one of them. Hence, I've joined this course.
Hmm.
So, what would be like? I just want your guidance. Like, is it possible to like completely transfer into a new role? And like I've seen that your previous experience, like if you're an fresher, you still have a better chance at getting certain roles. So I have this feeling like my prior experience is going to be a factor for my rejection when I appear for these particular roles. So do you have a take on that?
Yes. So it is sometimes, like, actually, it depends, like, actually, when you are at a higher pay and going to an entry level job, then there would be a challenge. But otherwise, like, your experience, like, from the pharmacovigilance would be an added advantage than a fresher while applying for a medical science liaison role. Because, like, actually, you already have exposure to industry, you already have exposure to understanding the safety, reporting those safety aspects, so that, you will have a preference. uh, but then, like, again, as I mentioned, like, the only factor, uh, what determines is, like, actually, many candidates, when they are trying to transition or when they are trying to apply, they are not able to showcase their level of interest, or, like, actually, they are not better prepared, or they are not well read on the job description. Because, like, some, their current role would be a completely desk based role, and they might not be actually, discussing, or, like, actually, any such details, like, actually, while moving. I mean, the expectations are not so clear with the both parties. And I have seen many people who had applied for medical science liaison roles. They have kept their CV same, what they have used 5 years back while applying for a different role. So that will not work. So we will need to adapt ourselves to the situation. uh, and I think the chances would be much more. And I myself had transition. For example, I will tell you, uh, starting my career, I was a medical science liaison. So eventually I got promoted as well in those segments. Then later on, like, right now, if you ask me, from 2003, I am working in the clinical development domain. It doesn't but again, like, actually, all those my past experience in the medical affairs have been valued. And again, because I do, like, similar work, because here I work as a, like, clinical research medical advisor or a clinical medical manager. So I mean, whatever the experience I gained as a in the medical affairs directly had helped me to thrive in the current role. So I mean, there are pretty good chances. Yeah.
Very nice discussion, sir. Thank you for that.
I can see Dimpy raising hand.
Yes, sir. I have two questions.
Yeah, please.
Like first is as you said in the seminar about cross-functional collaboration.
Yeah.
So at what levels we as a MSL will be collaborating, at what like to what different stakeholders?
Hmm.
Like,
So, very nice question. So, I'm not going to again deep dive into the complete role responsibilities, but I can say you quickly. So, MSLs liaise with the I would say like actually internal medical affairs team. Again, like that involves medical affairs or senior medical management, like to strategize their actions and like actually their day-to-day work related. They liaise with the internal medical affairs. They liaise with the clinical development team to give input, like who could be a better investigator for that trial what they have planned. So they coordinate for the post-marketing surveillance studies, like actually in liaison with the clinical development team. They liaise with the marketing team, like actually to have a better brand strategy. They liaise with the sales team to support the training requirements, and they not only for the sales team but for even the other internal functional teams. They liaise for training them in their respective therapy area. Hope I gave you a brief idea, but be patient, because the next speaker in the next session would be deep diving into the role in much greater details.
thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And second question, this is like a general question, like
Yeah.
what are the skills if you are an interviewer? Like, what are the skills you will be looking for in a fresher, or you will prefer
Yeah, so
that?
we have a separate session altogether, like actually plan for like actually how we prepare, how we face and prepare for interview. So I think like actually I will take this question Dimbi little later in the future sessions, because like actually we have an entire session planned, like actually to improve your prospects for the interview. Hope that's okay.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Any further queries?
Hi, sir. My name is Alna Joy.
Yeah.
And currently I'm doing my fourth year PharmD.
Yeah.
So my question is, since you've told that you've compared about medical representative and also MSL, my question is this, sir, this medical science license and as well as this medical representative, both will be working in a, both will be working for a company, right?
Yes, yes.
So medical representative, they'll be checking with the separate medicine or something, and they'll be promoting the medicine. So there is a kind of a profit for the company, right? Since
What?
you told that there
No,
will
last
be a
line
profit.
Yeah.
The company will have the profit, right, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
So MSL, right? So for the MSL purpose, these people are actually doing this awareness program, like a social awareness for the physicians or something. So since you've said that it's about the scientific things and all, I didn't see any kind of profit for the company. It's like a social awareness.
See, when a person will be able to sell, like actually, when he is able to showcase value, right? That value proposition comes from the medical affairs and like actually, at the local level from MSLs. Because when the doctor is not ready to understand, like actually, the real science behind the product, how is it better than the ones what is already available in the market, how a person can sell. It's like so as sales, this MSLs, all these are like actually complementary in nature. And as I told, like once it's like actually you are preparing the bed, or like actually preparing like actually the field where actually even this commercial team, the marketing team can try and thrive. Okay.
Oh yes, sir. So they will also be promoting for a drug or like a medicine.
I mean, no, they are, see, as I told, they are not promotional in nature as such, but they are MSLs will like actually, will be discussing the science behind that product portfolio. Like, and how, what's the relevance, like why that actually, doctor should like actually, choose this class of medicines, or like actually, this particular therapy over the other. Like, and what are the like actually differences what it could bring, etc. Like, and again they will also, MSLs would also be trying to have meaningful discussion with a lot of key opinion leaders. So there are like actually general prescribers. There are like actually there are key opinion leaders. So prescribers are like actually the local physicians, what you know, and then there are like key opinion leaders who could influence these prescriptions, those who can guide these general prescribers, etc. So if MSLs are able to have meaningful dialogue with these key opinion leaders, that will also indirectly influence the prescription pattern of a larger group of clinicians. So that will also like actually indirectly contribute like mm, uh, for a better work environment for the sales team.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I guess like Ajit, maybe like actually we can take any other questions like actually maybe if they can put it in the chat, we can.
There are, I think, two questions. Yeah, only two questions. One I think you have taken already. So one is Ajit, fresher if get the role of medication advisor. I think she asked, right?
Yes, that's already been covered.
Yeah, so I think no questions in the chat box. Deepak is raising the hand. Deepak, you want to ask the question?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
So good evening, sir.
Good
Sir,
evening.
myself, Dr. Deepak Hari. I'm a family graduate, currently working as a clinical oncology pharmacist at Adyar Cancer Institute. I just have some few questions to you, sir. Is the
Sure.
pathway to start as an oncology clinical pharmacist is right to enter into a medical affairs lately? What are the things I need to focus? And second question is, not all the companies were focusing on the education qualifications for their you said already like physicians and MD students are being preferred. That's absolutely fine on that. So which are the companies that the PharmD graduate can focus on as a fresher?
Yeah.
So these are the two questions, sir.
Yeah. So the first question I will answer, Deepak. Like you were asking, like your preparation currently, or you are working as a oncology pharmacist. How it will help your preparation to enter into medical affairs? Of course, it will play a pertinent role, because like I have seen many colleagues who had this experience in at a hospital setting in oncology preferred over others while they were being interviewed for this MSL or medical advisor role in oncology segments. And oncology, as you know, is always in demand, and I'm quite certain like actually your work will be valued and will be of great use, like while you are applying for any role, or like when you try to transition into industry. And second question, specifically, I'm not going to like actually right now give you specific names, but rather I would say like actually most of the MNCs these days, as well as all the I mean almost all the Indian companies, accept pharmacy professionals for their regional medical advisor MSL roles, while few MNCs they don't like actually accept them for a directly for a medical advisor role. But I have seen in those organizations as well, like pharmacy professionals with experience as an MSL transitioning into a medical advisor role, or like actually even bigger roles within those organizations. And maybe like actually if you still want to have a one-to-one conversation, like I am open to that. We can further discuss that one-to-one. Hope I am clear,
Thank you so
Deepak.
much, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
If no questions, we can wind up and we can take more questions in the next class, because another class is
it doesn't mean like actually you have all the questions to be covered right now. So maybe in case if you get any doubt, you can reach out to me. I think I can
and we
share
have
my...
Dr. Ehsan, we have 16 classes. We have a lot of other interactions coming. So don't worry, you come up with the questions. We are coming up with a lot of sessions. Don't worry.
So I am just putting my email ID over here in case if anyone wanted to.
Dr. Ehsan, I think that's better. Or we can put the LinkedIn ID also. That's better.
That I can share. One sec.
Aditya has some questions. I have some questions. Okay, are companies biased towards med graduates compared to family holder when it comes to more compensation? Okay.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you that it's not about bias, because like medical graduates working in medical affairs is like actually has like lot of history, and they have proven their skill sets, and they have the expertise over there. So
Exactly.
the pharmacist, as I mentioned, for pharmacists it was, especially in India, it was an uncharted territory, where in outside it was not like that. So in India, so they like actually still like actually you are just like actually venturing into this domain. So maybe like actually it will take couple of more years, but I would say like there are not much significant difference in terms of pay, like once you enter into a role.
Yeah, true. What are the performance matrices for what is this question? Performance matrices for MSL. Okay, this is another question. How often you encounter questions like what kind of doctor you are from KOL?
See, performance metrics or like actually key performance indicators, we will discuss more. I mean, the next session is entirely for that, like actually where he
Yes.
will uncover a lot of things.
Yes.
So I don't want to jump into that right away. And regarding like actually the questions, like I often face that, like actually because the key medical experts would be very keen also to understand the role profile of the person who is visiting him as well, because like actually many a times, as I told, an MSL can thrive when he is able to have a peer-to-peer relationship with the stakeholders. When that will happen, when you are also equally knowledgeable, if you can also talk like actually quite extensively on the topic where you want to communicate. So but as I told, like actually the organizations will also invest heavily to upskill people who are working as their medical science liaison. So again, for me personally, have transitioned from ophthalmology to very niche segment like lysosomal storage disorders. From there I have transitioned into very like actually generic or like mass marketing segment, like blood glucose monitoring systems. From there I have further transitioned into like very niche therapy areas, and off late into clinical development programs. So I mean, these all were not just like actually what these skills I have not attained only from the university or college, but like actually it was like on the go. Hope I am clear.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. There are wonderful reviews. So we'll see you guys on next Sunday, 6 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ehsan. Thank you very much. Take care,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Take
And
care.
again, like actually kindly take this course very seriously, because like actually we have planned for a very interactive session, as well as we will also discuss some realistic cases. So that will certainly help like later on if you really are looking to transition into these roles. And I think of course you will be able to really do well in the interviews if at all you are planning to for such roles. Thank you.
Yes,
See
absolutely.
you. See
Absolutely.
you later. Yeah. Bye bye.
See you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ehsan. Bye bye. Good night, guys. Good night. Very inspiring. Bye bye.